I grew up in Indiana in like a smallish town called Westfield. It was just very much of an up-and-coming area, but a really cool and good one to grow up in. When you're 3 years old, your parents put you in things, and I played other sports too. I played basketball up until I was in high school. I tried a lot of things, but soccer is the one thing that stuck. Soccer has been a big part of my life for as long as I can remember, and I played up an age my whole life, I think just because I was friends with those kids. I played with a bunch of guys that I actually played with in college at that age. So yeah, I was always the youngest kid around, but it taught me a lot. I got called into the national team at 14. I went down to Florida, and I went to school there for 2 years, and so at that point, because I had been away for a couple of years, I thought it would be fun to go home for college.
Number 2, Eriq Zavaleta.
My family could come see me again. I could be an hour and a half, I think is what it was, away from home. 5 or 6 of the guys that I played with my whole life ended up going there before me because they were older than I was, and so I knew we were going to be competitive because those guys could play, and obviously winning a championship as well there sort of solidifies your decision, but to do it in front of my family who was all there and for my home state was special.
And with the 10th pick of the first round, the 2013 MLS Super Draft, the Seattle Sounders select a forward, Eriq Zavaleta.
I remember it being a whirlwind. I felt like I landed in a great spot at the time in Seattle, and with a coach that had known my father and played with my father and Ziggy Schmidt, and a team that was very competitive at the time, and I felt like, you know, this is an experience for me that I can learn from and that I can play behind and hopefully come in and step in and play right away. That didn't turn out the way that I expected. I had a terrible preseason because it was the first time I had been playing center back and whatever, and ultimately I just didn't play well. And so then they decided after preseason we're going to move you back to forward. And I think I was more comfortable at the time at forward. I remember thinking, you know, I'm a first-round pick, I could get a chance, and it took me about, I don't know, 15 games, 10 to 15 games into the season just to get my first chance, and I played 5 minutes. And that season culminated in me playing 5 games for a total of about 40 minutes. So at the end of the year, I sort of said to myself, I think my ultimate highest ceiling is at center back. Wilmer Cabrera, who was my national team coach for youth, was coaching Chivas, and he made a call and said, hey, look, we want to bring him in, but it's as a center back. Ziggy looked at me and was like, look, we can't keep switching you back and forth. You have to make a decision as to what position you want to play. But ultimately, I made the uncomfortable decision, but it turned out to be the best one because I played 17 games that year. I was able to play for a team that had the freedom to give young players, inexperienced players like me, a chance, and I learned a lot that year.
Gabby Torres, that's some good tidy work there from Zavaleta, just stood strong shoulder to shoulder.
When that year ended, I remember the next year I was still under contract with Seattle, thinking I'm going back to Seattle, preseason's about to start. Packed my bags, really was essentially almost headed to the airport when they called me and were like, don't get on a plane.
Welcome to Toronto. Was it a surprise you ended up here?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think I got a call from Seattle saying you're going to Toronto, and then I got a call from Tim saying that they were excited to pick me up, and I think 48 hours later I was in Toronto and just was blown away with how much it felt like home right away. Hopefully have a breakout year here and be able to stay at Toronto for as long as possible.
Morgan with the cross into the middle, and it's headed in! Eriq Zavaleta, the former Sounders player, returns to CenturyLink and scores the goal that ties the game.
I think I've done everything I can so far at this club to prove to anybody that without a doubt I deserve to be on the field and that I can help this team win, and that's been my goal ever since I've been here. And just being a part of the development, and it's been gradual, some quick, some slower in terms of the team we are today and the team we have become. I think just watching the team grow, watching myself grow, I care about this club, and I just want this club to win.
Justin Morrow is able to get there and did really well to get it back to Zavaleta, who is making his 100th appearance in all competitions for Toronto FC tonight.
100 games at this club. I think when I first got here, I don't know if there was anybody that had that, and now there's 6, 7, 8 of us. Just to be a part of that small group, a group of guys that I'm very close with because I've been here through a lot with them. It means a lot to me. I've bled this club for the past 3, 4 years that I've been here. I think it's hopefully just the beginning of more games for me, and when I leave this club I can look back on and say 100 was just a part of the journey, and there's many more to come.